What's up, Cougs? I'm your host of Unorthodox Sports here on KUGR, DJ Squabble, and I am so beyond excited for today's episode where we finally have our March Madness brackets out, and March Madness has been all over everything, along with some NFL free agency stuff that we'll talk about later on. There's so many exciting things for us to get into. Gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. With me today on my right shoulder, Mr. Aaron Monson in the dark himself. Aaron, great to have you.
What is up? It is also great to be here, and I can probably shut my blinds just so I don't get the natural light, but there I can just angle it down a little bit. But yeah, it's good to be here. I'm really excited about today. I think you guys are going to be surprised about my bracket, but in like not the way that you're thinking that you'll be surprised, if that makes sense.
Well, Aaron, I've been doing the show with you for a while now.
This is show number 23, by the way. That's how long we've been doing this. Yeah.
Goat number.
Exactly.
Great to know. But one thing that we've learned, and you talked about it before the show, and this is going to be time 19, 20, and 21 on the show that you bring this up. This is your favorite month.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations, brother. We have made it. It looks like there's going to be a tournament. Hopefully, nothing changes that will negatively impact that.
I've gone a year without this, and it's just I feel so happy that it's back. I'm just so glad.
Yes. And on my left shoulder, Mr. Asher Aligned himself. Asher, you look handsome.
Fresh out of the barbershop. I'm in a really great mood right now. This is going to be an awesome show. I got an awesome story for when we get to the women's tournament. I'm just really happy to be here in the nick of time too. As for our viewers at home, I got a text from you guys like 3 minutes ago, and so it's a good thing the barbershop's not that far from campus. So
Got in touch with us 3 minutes ago, and he said the timestamp when he said that was 6:03. So the show starts at 6. And that's
hey, I got here on time. You guys said, all right, I'm here, 59. We're getting the show going. I wasn't late. I wasn't early, which I should have been. However,
right. Mm-hmm. Well, we do have a lot of things to talk about. So, gentlemen, let us get right into them. And the first thing I want to talk about, and allow me to switch screens because I have a special screen just for this show. And here on the screen, you will see the March Madness bracket. And you guys at home can see my picks right now. So, gentlemen, I hope you have your March Madness brackets pulled up, because we have some fancy dandy things that we need to talk about. First up, okay. So in the West, Gonzaga, the 1 seed, the prohibitive favorite in the entire tournament, the chalk team. There's no Duke and Kentucky in this bracket, the first time since '76. Everyone's been talking about the same time that the last undefeated team went all the way through the bracket and won. So does Gonzaga have what it takes to do that in this bracket? And gentlemen, I want to flip it to you. Asher, let's go to you. What are your initial thoughts on Gonzaga and the number 1 seeds in this tournament?
First of all, I just want to make this clear. Gonzaga is my champion. I think this is going to be a cakewalk. I'm just putting it out there. They beat the 2, the 3, and the 4 in their region already this year, and they ran them all 3 of those teams out of the gym. Iowa, Kansas, and Virginia beat them all by double digits. I don't think anyone can hang with this Gonzaga team for 2 halves. BYU did it. They were up by double digits at halftime in the championship for the Mountain West, and then Gonzaga ended up beating them by double digits. No one can hang with Gonzaga, and so I think they're going all the way. I don't really know who they're gonna play in the championship. So I can't confirm or deny this. I might be filling out my bracket right now, but I know Gonzaga's winning.
I
think this is their year.
That's what makes this so interesting, is that like the people at home, they can see who my picks are right now. Aaron, if you're watching, you can see who my picks are right now. But we're going to talk about those things, and it's actually really important who has the best picks, because the loser is putting due on the line. Asher, you haven't agreed to it yet, but I'm sure that you will. Asher, are you on board? Aaron
I'll
and I
put you on something. I just finished the last one that Aaron gave me from our last bet. I'll drink some more.
Oh, he gave you yours already? That's nice.
Yeah, bro, he still hasn't given you yours?
It's in my car. I'm getting there.
But yeah, so whoever has the worst percentage or score or however.
I say we do points because like it's at 1,920 points like on the ESPN tournament challenge thing.
Right.
So
okay.
we might as well just do like lowest points. Always like everybody else do. How about that?
How much do are we doing?
I say we do a 12-pack.
A 12-pack of do. 12-pack of do for the worst bracket. I'm gonna just let you guys know right now, this is the closest you will get to getting due from me off of a sports bet. Like, March Madness is the one. If there's a way for you to make that due back, Aaron, I see why you said 12-pack. Aaron, if you somehow find a way to lose this too,
I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be really, really sad. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be a sad guy.
That'd be so great. So okay. So in the West region, I like Gonzaga against whoever the 16th seed is. I have Oklahoma advancing, and in the first round I have Creighton over UCSB. I have Ohio upsetting Virginia.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that too. I've seen that on social media. A lot of people don't think Virginia's good. I don't think a lot of people think Virginia's going to go anywhere.
Well, there's an article on ESPN right now about like bracket watch, right, and like likely upsets. And that is one of them. They said like the percentage of the upset is about like 25, like 30%. So if you like those odds, then Ohio, you can go for it. I'm just saying. And Virginia has had bad luck in the tournament these past couple of years, and so I mean,
well, not every year.
Well, no, I'm not saying every year, but they did lose to a 16 seed, 2019, I believe, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Retrievers of UMBC, great social media account too. Fire.
All right, and then moving down, I like USC, I like Kansas, I like Oregon, and I like Iowa. So it's pretty much chalk the rest of the way. Gentlemen, how are we feeling about the first round, the round of 64 in the West bracket? Aaron, let's go to you.
So I have a couple upsets in the West bracket, right?
Ooh.
If you haven't heard about Kansas's issues lately, they have 3 of their players at the very beginning not traveling with them due to COVID-19 reasons. And for that reason, and that reason only, Bill Self finds a reason to lose to the Eastern Washington Eagles. Now, this is crazy, but at the same time, Sko Eagles, and I have faith that they can do it.
Well, and it's the powerhouses have not obviously.
No, they had a horrible year. Gonzaga
is there.
Gonzaga the only like real powerhouse because obviously they're going to make the bracket every single year, right? They dominate their division. Mark Few is potentially one of the best basketball coaches up there. I say he's up there with Coach K at this point. Honestly, how much he leads his Gonzaga Bulldogs team to victories and stuff. But no, I think on the West side we got 2 schools from Washington. I think they're both going to the round of 32. Honestly.
I love that. And then Asher, do you have any non-chalk answers that you wanna?
No, I see if I did have an upset, I was going to pick Eastern Washington, but now that I know that we're betting due on it, I kind of have to go against the spread here. I really want to pick Eastern Washington, and the way they're playing, the way they just absolutely blew through the Big Sky Conference. Yep. They're definitely going to give Kansas a run for their money. I think it'll be a single-digit game, no matter who wins, because like Aaron said, injuries have kind of piled up with Kansas, and Eastern Washington looks really, really tough right now. But
not even just injuries, bro. Like COVID reasons too. Like
yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot that's not going well right for Kansas.
Exactly.
But
Bill Self's having a heart attack as of right now.
Yeah, I mean maybe, and I do agree with the fact that Bill Self does not do great in the month of March because a lot of people like Kansas is just one of those really big schools that just breeds NBA players like Paul Pierce, Joel Embiid, the Morris twins. Like everyone knows Kansas is a basketball school through and through because their football team is. Yeah, everyone knows sports.
Yeah, we don't talk about their football team.
Yeah, exactly. We don't talk about that. But for some reason, Kansas just doesn't do good in March. But I think they get one game this year. I think they're good enough to beat Eastern Washington. The Groves brothers for Eastern though, they're going to be dangerous. I think they're playing some really great ball right now. But I have the top seed winning all in the West. So nothing too much. I've seen Oregon and USC play in person, and they're lethal. Evan Mobley, holy cow, he's top 2 or 3. Like I'd be astonished if he went below 3rd in next year's draft. He's pretty.
And see, like this whole experience is a learning experience for all of us. We're all going through. And at any point, if you guys want to change your picks as we're going, like I just did, feel free to.
I already have a couple times.
We're still assembling. There's a lot of things. Like I've changed my picks. I made my picks on the day of, on Sunday, and since then I've changed them like 14 times. I should probably just make a new bracket every time I change them, but instead I'm just changing them because I will have the first perfect bracket ever. Believe you me.
Yeah, I will put so much dew on that.
You're buying us
I will put so
20,000
much
cases of Mountain Dew. You're gonna get that $1 million from Warren Buffett or what?
Yeah, I know. So I was looking it up the other day and or actually earlier today, and Warren Buffett will give you $1 million the rest of your life if you make a perfect bracket or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
The odds of making a perfect bracket are literally you're more likely to get struck by lightning twice in the same day than you are to make a perfect
there was something
bracket.
else too. It was like you're more likely to pick out one grain of sand on this earth than getting a perfect bracket. There are more possibilities for this bracket than there are grains of sand on this earth.
I don't think that we will ever live to see a day where that happens. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think we will.
I mean, the only person that has to worry about it is Warren Buffett. He's the one with the money on.
True. Yeah. What happens when he dies? By the way,
his family will carry on the tradition.
I hope so, because when I get the first perfect bracket, I expect that $1 million the rest of my life. But whatever. Or when I time travel and
Wouldn't that be so great to just get the first, the only perfect bracket ever? That's like having 7 rings in the NFL. You no one's gonna pass that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so moving down through the West bracket, let's stay here, folks. Gonzaga, I got Gonzaga over Oklahoma. I like Creighton advancing over Ohio. The pick that I flipped was USC over Kansas based on the issues you guys brought up. And then Oregon, I have falling to Iowa and Luka, who is going to be a top pick in the draft. Gonzaga over Creighton, Iowa over USC. And finally, boy, was I tempted to take Iowa over Gonzaga in a rematch.
That's a very chalk West bracket. I'll give it to you. It's very chalk.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. The West is not where things get exciting for me.
Okay, I mean you're wrong, but okay. All
right. All right, Aaron, let's go to you. Who do you got in the West?
Well, I guess granted. I also have a pretty chalk going in. I have USC beating Iowa in the Sweet 16 just because I feel like Evan Mobley's a stud, and Garza being ridiculous as he is, he averages 23 points a game, 8 rebounds, almost a double a game. 23 points a game, by the way, for a center. How much I would have loved to be as good as him when I played basketball? I would have gotten the ball all the time. I played with a bunch of point guards who never fed me the ball, and it was absolutely infuriating. But this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's getting the ball all the time and scoring 23 points a game. Absolute monster underneath the basket. But I still think because I want to see USC do well, I think they beat Iowa in the Sweet 16 and go to the Elite against Gonzaga. But then they ultimately lose to Gonzaga.
Well, you really built up the team that you picked against.
I did. But I mean, I have all the respect in the world for Garza. He's going to get drafted top 3. Granted, I guarantee you, because he's a great, there's so many NBA teams that could use a big dude like him, but
as he should.
Mm-hmm, exactly, he deserves it, and so, but he's not going to get that ring in March this year. So,
all right, Asher. So you got Gonzaga all the way. Do you have any other upsets?
Not in the West.
I have USC. I have USC over Kansas. Just because it's hard for me because there is a little bias, I'll admit, because I've seen USC in person and I haven't really followed Kansas basketball this year. And so part of me is just leaning on the fact that Kansas just historically doesn't do well in the month of March. I think they're good enough to get past Eastern, but I don't think they're good enough to get past the Pac-12 Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. He had 5 blocks in multiple games in the Pac-12 tournament this year. It was just absolutely crazy to watch him. Granted, some of them might have been a foul. He might have gotten a hand on a few of them, but he got at least 3, 4, or 5 blocks. In the Pac-12 tournament, it's just insane to watch a freshman. He's Kevin Durant. He is the exact same size. He's the exact same build, and he can stretch the floor. I don't see Kansas getting past them. They have really good guards too. Isaiah White, really veteran leadership too for them. I think USC beats Kansas, and I don't think Oregon Oregon's too small, I think, and I think Luka Garza is going to take advantage of a lot of matches. Because Oregon doesn't start a guy over 6'6", or at least they didn't in the Pac-12 tournament.
So,
and that led to their jump ball. And I think Luka Garza.
They're not fast enough to be starting anybody under 6'6", like everybody averaging 6'6". That's not even.
I'm pretty sure their starters were all forwards and point guards. You could check, but
that's not smart.
What I remember, there was not a coach, but that's not smart. There was the shortest team out there. 6'6" isn't even that short, but for college basketball, 6'6", like when all your guys are 6'6" and below, you're gonna get exposed by people like Luka Garza.
Garza and Mobley will work you in that situation.
Yeah, and it showed because Oregon State handled Oregon just fine. So, I just have that one upset with USC over Kansas.
For the record, gentlemen, of our picks, last time we talked about March Madness, remember my favorite was Baylor, and my sleeper was Loyola. Mm-hmm. And we'll get to my Cinderella Loyola in a little bit, but
we're talking Loyola Chicago. That's the only Loyola in there, right?
Going to Indy. I'm so glad to see it. Love. Just an awesome story. That is. What year was that when they made their run?
That was 2018. That was like
they went viral for it. I hope they do it again. I don't think they will. It'd be really cool.
It was the year before Virginia lost in the first round to the 16 seed.
I have so much faith and confidence in Loyola, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So Baylor, I'm advancing. I have Wisconsin over UNC. Other than that, the only non-chalk I have is VTech over Florida.
I have that one too. Yeah.
Are we on the same page then?
I have Florida beating. I don't have VTech advancing. I got Florida.
Okay. And then in the next round, Baylor over Wisconsin. I got Nova over Purdue.
Me too.
In an upset.
Wow.
Slight upset. I'm concerned if I'm this close to Aaron's bracket. Texas Tech, Mac McClung over Arkansas in an upset.
That's when you're wrong. That's where you're. I don't have that.
I have that one too.
Do you really?
That's a fat upset.
That's a big upset.
Yeah, I have Purdue beating Nova because I think missing Colin Gillespie is really big for Nova. But I think Mac McClung and the Red Raiders could cause an upset.
Wouldn't that be exciting? And Texas, so I have Texas Tech, and then Ohio State beats VTech, and then I have Ohio State over Texas Tech, and Baylor over Nova. So it ends up being chalk. It's the 1-2 in both the South and the West, but I have Ohio State beating Baylor this time and advancing to the Final Four. What about you, Aaron?
So,
as he changes a pick.
I mean, not even because of what you said, because of what I've been reading while I've been listening at the same time. But Utah State, so like there's a link on ESPN about all these possible upsets. Okay, and they give reasons why. And Utah State, let's take a look at Utah State real quick, shall we? Just pull up. Just real quick. But I have them beating Texas Tech.
Utah State.
I have Utah State beating Texas Tech, yeah.
Ooh,
Utah State.
That is
dude,
an
Rolling
upset.
Worcester, my guy. Hey, you guys know who that is? He's a Montana product. He's from, which school did he go to? I think he went to Hellgate. Averages double digits a game, and he's a true freshman. He was our Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year, I think. He was a stud in high school, so...
That is an upset. I give you credit for that. I like that.
It is an upset. It's just the thing is, it's likely because of their center. I mean, granted, as a center, you should have high percentage from the field because you're underneath the basket almost all the time. But still, you don't see a lot of centers that shoot more than 45% for the most part, right? Because of like the heavy defense. But their center shoots 55% from the field, right? Every other shot goes in. Technically more than every other shot goes in. They rank. I know exactly. They rank 16th in offensive rebounds, and the Red Raiders are 254th in the defensive rebounds. Think about that. That is
great.
So the Red Raiders can't rebound.
Done his homework. I appreciate that.
The Red Raiders can't rebound. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at an article, but like at the same time, I'm just doing my homework.
254th.
I was trying to hype you up, man. No,
yeah, I appreciate that. I really do. That means a lot.
254th. They're like behind two competitive teams at the Rec. Like
honestly, exactly. I mean, yeah, Texas Tech. I don't think they deserve the number 6 spot, but that's people. When you win the rebound battle, you win games. Okay, right? So I got faith in my Utah State Aggies, but at the same time, I have them immediately losing to Arkansas in the regular. I want them to win at least one game because that'd be a great story, right? But then Arkansas beats them. I have Ohio State beating VTech in the round of 32. I have Baylor beating Wisconsin. I have Nova beating Purdue. And in the Sweet 16, I got a Baylor beating Nova, Arkansas beating Ohio State because I can't stand Ohio State. And then I got Baylor beating Arkansas. Or I'm sorry, I got Arkansas beating Baylor. In the Elite
Arkansas.
Eight.
I like that. I like that pick.
Mm-hmm.
I like that pick. I love how you said Texas Tech over Arkansas is where we went wrong, when really it was Utah State over Texas Tech.
Don't even worry about it.
Asher, let's go to you. Who do you got on this side of the bracket?
In the South? Are we still in the South, I think? Okay, cool. Round of 32, Baylor beats Wisconsin, Purdue beats Nova, Tech beats Arkansas, Ohio State beats Florida. Moving on, Baylor over Purdue, Ohio State over Tech, and I watched Ohio State in their championship games win, and they look really good on paper, and I just can't really go against Baylor because his name Butler got a first team All American. He was just great this entire year. So I have Baylor going to the Final Four. It's super cliche having a lot of 1 seeds go to the Final Four, but it's just really hard to pick against these 1 seeds. Like Gonzaga, undefeated, impossible to pick against them, at least going to the Final Four. Baylor has some studs too. Illinois came out of nowhere and became a 1 seed.
Illinois had a great season.
See, and that's what made it hard to stick with Loyola. Like that or Illinois gets bounced in the 32.
You do not have Loyola. You do not have Illinois beating Loyola.
Look, we will
You do not have Loyola beating Illinois.
Let's talk about Loyola right. So, gentlemen, now if we may address the next region of the bracket,
let's address this.
The Midwest. So, round 1, Illinois, I have advancing.
Okay.
Loyola, Georgia Tech is one heck of a ball game. This is
Georgia Tech upset Florida State to win the ACC. Tech's looking good this year. Like that's such a perfect matchup too, because Loyola has the story behind them and Sister Jean and all that, and Georgia Tech coming in and stealing the ACC, I think, from Florida State. So.
No, they stole it. And I was watching that game, and the passion that they alluded. They were so excited, so passionate that the dude was yelling at the camera about the coach and all that stuff.
Yep, I know what you're talking about. That was really cool to see.
That was so cool to watch. And that's why, like, I'm actually, like, I'm not even going to lie. Like, when I first brought up my bracket, I had Loyola to the 16.
Oh Lord! Oh no!
That didn't make it past Monday.
Okay, good. All right.
And
good.
at this point, I'm taking G Tech over Loyola in round 1. Like I have Loyola out in the first round based on seeding, based on how that worked out. I'm off the Loyola train. Let's make that very clear. So G Tech is my first upset. I like G Tech over Loyola. I like Oregon State over Tennessee, and that.
My man, so do I. Yep.
All right, so we're all on the same page about that upset.
I'm on the Orange Express. They were watching them in Vegas just run away with the tournament. I won't say they ran away with it because they played some really competitive games. But holy cow, Coach Tinkle came ready to play. That was really awesome to see in person. Hats off. Like I was complimenting them like all tournament long. Like they just came ready to play, and they deserve that too. Like that Shipper against Colorado, terrific game. Love to see it. I think Oregon State's playing really great right now, and I think they can beat Tennessee.
No, and that was such a well-deserved title. They played so beautifully
Their first one ever. Like who would have thought? Like it only makes sense given the last year or so, but it was really cool to see.
Moving down the bracket, I have chalked the rest of the way in the first round. Do you guys have any other upsets in the first round?
Like on the east side too, or the Midwest?
Midwest.
Yeah, I got Syracuse over San Diego State, and Rutgers over Clemson.
Syracuse over San Diego State and Rutgers over Clemson. Okay.
Purely because of the fact that Syracuse is great rebounding and San Diego State is like below average. And I think rebounds, like I said earlier, rebounds win games. And so,
big rebound guy.
Dude, rebounds are important. Like
they are.
I'm not here.
Right. Yeah, the Syracuse Orange have a 39% chance to upset the San Diego State Aztecs, and I like those odds. So
I'm changing. Oh my gosh, I'm changing the bracket as we go here. I'm not even changing the same side of the bracket. I just changed my winner.
Okay, so you don't have Alabama anymore. Thank God.
Yeah.
You had me scared for a minute there when I saw that. I was like,
everyone saw Alabama. I like that. I'm not a fan of Alabama, but I know how good they are, and I watched that SEC championship game that should have been a loss, but regardless.
True.
So the next round, Illinois I have over G-Tech. That's where G-Tech's road comes in. This is the most disappointing matchup, I think, in the second round in the tournament. This made me so sad. Oregon State versus Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Cunningham versus Oregon State, and the road that they're on, the fact that they get the 12 seed and they're going up against a top NBA draft prospect, I have Oklahoma State advancing here. I think this is one of the matchups of the tournament, and I think the winner of this has the great potential to go on a run. Great potential.
I agree. Yes. Yeah, I have Oklahoma State beating Oregon State too. But yeah, that matchup, like if Oregon State can get the upset and move on to play Oklahoma State, because I had Oklahoma State as like my sleeper before all the final seedings were projected, because I think when we talked about it, they were only going to be a 6 seed, but now they're 4, and so you can't really call them a Cinderella team if they're a top 4, I don't think. But I do think that's one of the best potential games of the entire tournament.
So when you say Cinderella, what do you like? What do you expect from a like? What does a Cinderella team entail? Like, how far do they get?
No, okay, so it's completely up for interpretation. I am no.
Right. Yeah, it's super subjective. For sure.
Okay, so like
I'm not a Cinderella Nazi.
Right. No, are you squad? Are you go with your Midwest? Can I Am I allowed to? Can I go?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So like making it to the Sweet 16, especially if you're a 12 seed, is I consider to be pretty Cinderella story-esque.
I would consider that.
And that's why I have Oregon State beating Oklahoma State in round 32. Granted, I know how good Oklahoma State is and how great that prospect is, but Beavers are on a run. They just came off an amazing win in the Pac-12 tournament, right?
Really good.
They absolutely deserved it, and I think it'd be really great to see them play a team like Illinois. Like, granted, both of those games that they're going to have to win, they're going to beat the Volunteers and the Cowboys, which is going to be 2 hard games. Don't get me wrong. That's the 5 seed and the 4 seed right there, like right in a row.
Boom, boom.
But exactly. But I mean, I really think they could do it, honestly, based off how their coaching's been going all year and just the finish they had in the Pac-12 tournament. I think they're going to be rolling off of that for, I hope, 2 games and get the dub.
See, and I don't agree with that, but I agree with it. Like,
yeah,
I don't think that's what's going to happen, but like I could totally see it happening, and I love it. I think Oregon State, Oklahoma State could go like triple overtime. I think that could be one of those
it'd be
games.
Great. It'd be awesome.
Seriously, it could be one of those, and then Illinois will try and clean up right after. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. So, West Virginia over SD State, I have in my bracket, and then Houston. Oh my goodness, who's been just phenomenal. All year and finishing their year strong with the blowout victory. Houston, I have advancing. West Virginia advances. Then, so in my Midwest, I have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 meeting. But this is where stuff gets crazy.
Oh, this is where it gets crazy. Okay.
I have Houston advancing, but Illinois gets knocked off by Oklahoma State.
Wow. That'd be a game too. That'd be pretty.
Cade Cunningham. Yeah, I'm saying the winner of Oregon State, Oklahoma State not only has the potential to go on a run, but that they will. I think Oklahoma State goes on a run because of the victory over Oregon State, and I think this game, whoever wins this game, goes on a run. And if Oregon State wins this game, I'm picking them to knock off Illinois.
Really?
Whoever wins this game, I think I just both of the energies of these teams. These are like similar energy teams to me.
Okay.
And I'm just March is crazy, man. I'm going with it. So I have Oklahoma State
March
advancing.
Wild.
Oklahoma State versus Houston in the Elite Eight.
Purely for the fact that you convinced me, I also changed Oregon State to beating Illinois, just because of the energy. That makes sense. You know how I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see those looks from both of you, right? Asher, I saw the whatever.
No,
this is March.
Anything
can happen.
Hey,
March is
wild.
March is the craziest month. March. Okay, all right, fair enough. March is the craziest month of the year for college basketball. But Oregon State's going to make it to the Elite Eight. I can see it happening. But then they're going to get knocked off. Not by Houston. Oh, no.
Ooh.
You guys are forgetting about, minus Kyle Smith, who is my favorite head coach in all of NCAA basketball as of right now. I'm a little biased. I have to be. My second, if not tied for first favorite head coach in the entire championship association, NCAA, the entire thing. I love this man so much. Bob Huggins.
Really?
Huggy Bear. West Virginia. Oh, my Lord, what a character this guy is. I love how energetic. Have you seen how beat red this man's face gets when he's yelling on the sideline? Even with the mask on, it's amplified. You can tell, through the mask. I love Bob Huggins.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. He's one of the smartest dudes in the entire, he's a sleeper coach. If that makes sense. I've never said that term before, but, if you put those two together, I think he's an underrated sleeper sort of a coach. Every year, West Virginia's in the tournament, and every year they win at least one game. And that is purely why I have West Virginia going to the Final Four.
Ooh,
it's because of Bob Huggins. I have faith in the man. And I know he's got faith in his players as well. And they had a great season. So I have West Virginia winning out the Midwest.
Asher.
I can't even follow up. That's
no, that
I
was
love it.
A hot take.
No, I was gonna say. Mine's mostly chalk. I have, Elite Eight. I got 1 through 4. I have Illinois and West Virginia going. I think West Virginia gets the slight upset over Houston, and then I got Illinois going to the Final Four. I think that I've seen them play this year. They're just with Ao and I can't pronounce it, Kofi Cockburn. I think that's how you pronounce it. Those two are some wild talent. This year's draft class, assuming one of those, Kate Cunningham, Mobley,
outrageous.
Suggs, Kispert, Timmy, assuming half of those guys declare, this draft class is going to be insane. Comparable to last year's too, LaMelo Ball and all those guys. I think this is one of the best potential draft classes we've seen in a while.
And I think it'll be better.
There's definitely potential for it, and I would not be surprised at all if it is better. And Ao and Kofi, I need to brush up on my pronunciations, but I think they're a big reason for Illinois' success, and a lot of people think that, and I think they're good enough to get to the Final Four, and I think they do.
Gentlemen, when we talk about the east side of the bracket, if you guys think Oklahoma State was crazy at all going to the Final Four, prepare to have your minds blown.
Dude, I don't even know if I have to be ready, because because based on what I have for my bracket, I think you and I are kind of thinking the same thing right now.
Really? Okay. Well,
I think so. I might be wrong, but I have an idea.
What's crazy is the first round is 100% chalk. I have.
We are not on the same page then. Carry on.
Because I really like the closest one that I have, St. Bonaventure. And it makes sense, it's the 8-9. But Bonaventure's a really good team. I just really, really love LSU and how they were devastatingly lost the SEC championship to Alabama.
Should have taken a 3 when you're down, when you have that little time left. That's just my opinion.
And I think they take it, they use it as motivation and they advance in the first round. But that's my closest upset. I do like BYU over probably UCLA.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, yeah, no, it's just chalk for me. But what about you, Asher?
So this is where I get a little interesting. I was very pleased with what I saw in Madison Square Garden. Mostly chalk, like you said, except for this one. I think Colorado is kind of in a skid right now after McKinley Wright and Maddie and them lost the championship in such heartbreaking fashion. And I think the Hoyas get it done. I think they upset Colorado. As well seeded. It's
Wait, you have I have that one too.
This one's mine.
I have that one too. I have Georgetown beating Colorado as well.
That makes me sad. Like, it should make you
happy. You're getting due if we're wrong, right?
Oh, actually, no. Good point. I will benefit from this.
Silver lining, man.
Amen to that.
Silver lining. I appreciate that. That made me feel better. But no, like that. So Bonaventure would have been my first upset. That would have been my second. I can see that upset. I like that pick. I really do. The way that Georgetown
school
just won, the Patrick Ewing effect with his disrespect in Madison Square Garden.
That was unbelievable. Like Spike Lee went out to go and just totally go after Madison, like the employee. He's like, no way, and he should be right. Like, there's a reason his jersey's hanging up in those rafters. Like, you should probably know who Patrick Ewing is.
Probably just a little bit.
Maybe just a suggestion, but yeah. So I do have Colorado advances. So is that your only upset in the first round in the East?
In the first round, yes.
Aaron.
Yeah, I'm chalk other than that.
Okay, the second round things get even more interesting.
Oh, do they?
On the bottom, I like Alabama past UConn. I like Texas over BYU in what should be a really fun game.
That's going to be a good game. Yeah.
BYU is a lot of fun to watch. Mm-hmm. The BYU versus Gonzaga. Oh, my goodness.
Gonzaga on half.
The rematch, the 12-point deficit for Gonzaga, but to come back. That was a fun game to watch. I like Colorado over Florida State slightly. So I have Colorado making it to the 16 at least. I'm not going to say if they get farther in.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
And do you guys know when Isaiah Livers is coming back?
Who?
Isaiah Livers of Michigan. He's their second leading scorer, 13 points per game behind Hunter Dickinson. And I don't know either. And that's why I have LSU advancing past Michigan. In the round of 32.
Oh, Noah.
LSU, the 8, knocks off the 1 and advances. So I got in my Elite 8, in my Sweet 16, LSU, Colorado, Texas, Bama. Aaron.
Yeah, well, as of 3 days ago, Livers is... That makes me sad. That makes me. I really got to rethink everything. I had no idea. This was 3 days ago.
He's rethinking his entire life decision.
No,
right?
Michigan was winning the tournament for him.
3 days. No, they weren't. They were not winning. But as of 3 days ago, it says indefinitely. I don't like that word at all. That word scares me, and it should scare a lot of other players. But as of I still have Michigan going to the Final Four. I mean, I have them beating LSU, which hopefully, if that does happen, it will be a good game. I have Florida State beating Georgetown purely. Actually, the rest of this is basically chalk, except for Texas beating Alabama in the Sweet 16. But
I can get with that.
Mm-hmm. And then I have Michigan beating Texas in the Elite 8, but that's basically it.
Texas is such a squad. Texas is really a squad.
I mean, it doesn't happen very it's very hot and cold for Texas to have a great basketball team, but this year they've got a squad, and so that's why I have them going.
Agreed, gentlemen. We're not even done. We're 2/3 of the way done, but this is already like one of my favorite shows we've ever done. Like, I am enjoying this so much. Asher, let's go to you. Take us through your East bracket.
Dude, it's a shame we can't have a March Madness tournament like every month. Like this.
Dude.
So here's something for you guys. You guys thought. This is probably my biggest take of the year, probably. But you thought LSU over Michigan was a big upset. How about this? Not only does Florida State lose the chipper to Georgia Tech, I think they lose to the Hoyas. I think Georgetown gets them.
You think Georgetown? beats? Really?
Georgetown minus 16. I'm all aboard.
I could see that Florida State choked at the end of that game. Like
they did.
They choked, and I could see them having some demons right now. So I don't agree with it, but I love it.
Oh no, no one does, and that's why I love it, because I don't think anyone has not many people have Georgetown going this far.
Actually, I would be so happy.
Fair, I have them losing to Michigan just because I think Dickinson Livers, assuming he comes back then, are just too much for Georgetown. But I think Georgetown, which is interesting to say, I think Georgetown's a really good Cinderella team, which is something you do not associate with Georgetown based on the amount of success they've had in college hoops, like forever. You just don't assume they're going to be a 12 seed, but here they are. But they're able to win their conference, and I think they have some momentum right now because of the whole story too. Like with Ewing not being recognized, like that definitely lit a fire not only under Ewing but that entire team. Like he was just so mad. Like they were just so mad, and rightfully so. And so I think they can get 2 wins. So that's my big upset for the bracket. Everything else I got chalk.
That'd make me so happy if Georgetown does do that. I would love to see Florida State go down that quickly. Oh my goodness.
So Aaron. So we were talking about Cinderella stories and what makes a Cinderella story. I got Bama over Texas in a close, great match. That is such a great game. That will
be when it happens. It's going to happen. It's going to be.
So not only are we actually is the fact that we're getting a tournament back making it so much better, but a lot of the matchups too. Said
phenomenal
are just blockbuster matchups.
Yeah, they really are.
The fact that we didn't have March Madness last year is only adding to the effect of like there's going to be like billions of viewers. There's got to be, right? Like this is probably the most anticipated March Madness tournament of all time.
I'm going to have so many games going on at once. I'm going to have so many screens open. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous.
Aaron's about to go buy like multiple iPhones just.
I'm going to have to buy another monitor, some more RAM for my computer, and just have 3 screens. I already got 2 monitors, bro. I'm gonna have at least 6 games going at the same time on Friday.
Aaron,
amazing.
The 3 of us need to get together and drink some of the dew Aaron's bought for us so far. Like we
need No, I'm not coming. If you're drinking my dew, I'm not.
we need to do that together. But gentlemen, all right. So I got Bama over Texas. Then the Cinderella carousel continues. The pumpkin is on its way to the ball. LSU over Colorado. The Buffalo go down, and the Tigers advance to rematch Alabama in a rematch of what was the SEC championship game that if you have me on social media at ITZNOTNOAH on Snapchat and at DJSQUABO on Instagram, you saw my reaction to the final play.
That would be the most watched game of the tournament at that point.
I would actually pay good money to see that. Like I don't do TV very often. Boxing. In fact, I never do it, but watching that rematch would be awesome, especially in the Sweet 16.
LSU. I would have LSU over Bama.
No, it's the Elite Eight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. That would be the Elite Eight. So I'd be okay with that for sure.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous.
That'd make it better.
Gentlemen, LSU versus Alabama in the rematch. It came down. They had the shot for the win. Comes up short. They have a putback layup, rims out, and a tip that doesn't get above the rim. The clock goes out. The shock in LSU's face after losing the SEC championship game. Gentlemen, I don't know if you guys know this, but my uncle is a huge LSU guy. He lives in Louisiana, and when I was a kid, I was like 5 or 6 years old. He gave me a jacket after we visited him down there, and it was an LSU jacket, and it was XL. I was a kid. It was way too big for me, but ever since then, I have rooted for LSU, and I've kept up with their sports, not fully, but more than other teams. And
you know who went to LSU? My favorite basketball player of all time, this guy.
Okay,
so many legends.
I thought you were gonna say something else. I was like, no way. While we're on this though, before I forget,
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, Ben Simmons too. I want to throw something in here too. So my grandpa also went to LSU, and
really,
he went at the same time Bob Pettit was there, and so he was telling me stories about how he got to watch Bob Pettit play basketball at LSU, and I was just so jealous of him because Pettit was just unbelievable. Like to watch like a Hall of Famer like that playing hoops. But yeah, I'm definitely an LSU guy too. I have a lot of I have a lot of family roots down in the Bayou. So LSU is just really easy.
Down the Bayou.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
That is such a good story, Asher. That is so like. Obviously the Pettit factor, but like the fact that we all have family down there, that's so cool. I'm glad to have the connection.
And my West Coast family.
I love LSU. And we all hate Alabama, and that's why in this game, LSU gets their revenge. Is that Cinderella enough for you? The number 8 seed goes to the Final Four at least. I haven't even told you what happens in the Final Four.
I hope you had them losing the Final Four because that would make the most sense to me. Like, but yeah, sending the 8 seed.
I am ending this Skype call right now. No way.
If you have Gonzaga beating or losing to LSU, I'm not giving you your due.
Oh man, maybe I shouldn't scroll up.
The contract's void.
Do you actually? I mean, granted, like the stream's a little behind, but do you actually have LSU?
Hold on. So here's my thing. Originally, I had LSU losing to Colorado, I believe, or I had them losing and not advancing, and I had Bama winning it all. But now, LSU beat Bama.
Uh-huh.
And that makes me have to reconsider my Final Four. And so right now, it has LSU selected as my champion, but that's just because they just replaced Bama where Bama was.
And you have... I just don't see how you can have any team beating Gonzaga. Like, I'm with Asher. Like I mean, once we...
As cool as that would be, because also, not just because of roots and all of that Cinderella story, like, that would be awesome to see an 8 go that far. But I just don't think anyone in this bracket can hang with Gonzaga. Like, the eye test just tells me, like, there's a reason there's a 0 on the right side of the hyphen on their record. No one's been able to hang with them, and I don't think that changes.
You know what, gentlemen? I'm calling it. I'm sticking with it. LSU go Tigers, lose to Alabama in the SAC championship, advance to the Final Four where they meet Gonzaga and they end their undefeated season in disappointing fashion like so many Gonzaga seasons have ended before.
You're putting a seed in the national championship.
Let's get a timestamp on this. Holy cow.
6:48 p.m. on March 16th of 2021. Noah Coulter, also known as DJ Squabo, sends the Tigers over Gonzaga.
You said this earlier. I don't agree with it, but I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. LSU advances past the Final Four to the national championship where they play the winner of Ohio State, Oklahoma State, who is Oklahoma State in an upset. So now I have
chip game of all time, no debate. That would be awesome.
An 8-4 matchup,
but I'll give it to you. That is an amazing Final Four in chipper. That is
gracious. Well, who's on the right side of your bracket in your Final Four?
Post-COVID. So I got Gonzaga, LSU, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, and I have Oklahoma State beating Ohio State, meaning my national championship is LSU, Oklahoma State.
Oh.
And I think it's down to the wire. I think it's one heck of a matchup.
Yeah,
I think Cade Cunningham has punched his ticket as the number 1 pick in the draft. But I like the Tigers. In a post-COVID,
what's up?
It is the 15th, and by this game, it'll be the 16th month of 2020, and that's why this will happen. The 8 seed will win the national championship. Your top dogs aren't winning this year. Your top dogs aren't in the bracket this year. Last time this happened, the undefeated team Louisville went all the way. but that's not going to happen this time.
Mm-hmm.
Gonzaga,
are you ready for all this deal we're going to get from Noah?
I refuse to take chalk. I refuse to take chalk. LSU over Gonzaga. And so just for the record, with the unlikeliness that this happens, right? If you
extreme unlikeliness that LSU makes it anywhere past the round of 32.
Guys, I would love to see Asher lose this bet because he is the, college basketball expert here.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but thank you.
But boy, would it feel good to pick LSU over Gonzaga and then
hear me out.
No, hold on. Let me. I'm almost done here.
Yeah.
I'm almost done here.
All right.
Boy, would it be great to have Asher have to lose this bet. But the fact that I pick LSU to win my national championship, if Aaron still finds a way to somehow lose this competition and owe us due, I feel like that's the most perfect outcome possible. LSU national champions. Asher, go ahead.
Okay. So let's double down on this. How about this? If LSU wins the whole thing, I'll get you 24 things of Mountain Dew. I'm willing to do that. But if LSU doesn't win, then you have to give us a little more than 12. How about that?
No.
Oh, come on.
He's not confident. Uh-oh. He's not confident in his Tigers. Uh-oh.
Good Tigers.
No, absolutely not. I am not.
Who's in your Final Four?
We can come up with another bet some other time. We got plenty of time between now and the national championship game.
Yeah.
Asher, who's your Final Four? I'm very curious.
I have 3 1s, which is kind of cliche. I just can't see them losing before then. So I have Gonzaga, Alabama on the left side. I think they beat Georgetown. I have them beating Michigan. Mm-hmm. And then I have Baylor and Illinois as the ones on the right side.
That's likely. It's very chalky, but it's likely.
I just can't pick against them. It's going to be hard for me. And then I have Illinois beating Baylor, and then I have Gonzaga winning by 86-78. I think Gonzaga's off just insane.
That's a high-scoring game. It's a high-scoring game.
Illinois.
Gonzaga's a high-scoring team.
Grant, that's fair. I'll give them to you. But in the national championship, I think people score less, tend to at least, just because
I think this is a little different. I think they just let it fly.
Right. I mean, my final score is 72-68, right, in the national championship.
That's a respectable score.
That's pretty high.
I know. I mean, and my Final Four, I have Gonzaga and Michigan on the left side, which the 2-1 seeds. But obviously, I have Gonzaga winning that one, and then on the right side, I got Arkansas, West Virginia, 2-3 seeds in my Final Four, just purely for the fact I love Bob Huggins, and I honestly didn't want to put Baylor in the number ones in like any farther than the Elite Eight, just because Arkansas is going to be. I feel like they're going to have an unstoppable run this year, but they're going to lose in the Final Four ultimately. But Gonzaga, I have Gonzaga over West Virginia as national championship, 72-68. I got the Bulldogs.
That'd be a really good game.
I would love to see a West Virginia Gonzaga game. It'd be absolutely incredible. 2 awesome coaches. Mm-hmm. Mark Few is a future Hall of Famer, by the way. I'm pretty. Yep.
I agree with that.
They're gonna do the whole thing where they're gonna put his name on a banner in Spokane. They're gonna put and it's gonna be hung up just like we had the coach. I forget his name. Coach. Yeah.
George Radling, great coach.
So you guys both like the Zags?
I like the Zags.
Yeah.
All right.
And another thing too, this is kind of recency bias, but the reason I'm willing to make it a higher scoring game is because I watched a game with almost 200 points scored where Utah hung 98 on the Huskies in the opening round. And Washington made that a great game. The Huskies, who do not have a good offense, scored 95 points in that game. And they do not get that many points a lot. And so that just goes to show March is crazy and anything can happen. So I'm okay with it.
And the comeback in that game.
Yeah, that was an insane game. Utah was running away with it, and then Huskies battled back, but they couldn't get it done. Unfortunately, can't root for the Huskies ever. That's just the rules. But I was just shocked to see such a high-scoring game like that in college.
Well, I have an 8 seed winning the national championship, gentlemen. But you guys think that's crazy? That's Cinderella enough. Let's go to the women's bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And
say less.
On the women's side of things, obviously we do not have time to go all the way through the bracket. at this point in time. And for the record, with the Seahawks free agency stuff, Ahkello Witherspoon, there's your summary of Seahawks free agency so far. Like,
hey, Kuda Ford got re-signed too. I think that's a significant.
Was he even a free agent, or did we just extend him? Like, I can't. I don't even know if he was a free agent. Like,
might have been. I think he might have been extended. But either way, I think that's a good thing for him to re-sign him. I think he's come out, so he's been doing some good things. So
no, it's a good. Okay, I don't want to downplay it completely, but it's the fact that all these offensive linemen are getting big deals and going places, and the one team that will lose their star quarterback if they don't get offensive linemen hasn't signed a single one yet. So
losing Carlos Hyde too. What?
Carlos Hyde, Philip Dorsett, Shaq Griffin. All right, look, we're not talking about the Seahawks. The women's bracket, okay? The women's bracket. So this is where you're going to see me going a lot more chalk, except for one team, and I think you guys know what team that is.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs, baby.
So, unfortunately, I have Stanford in the Alamo advancing all the way to the Elite Eight, where they lose to Louisville.
In the Elite Eight?
No, wow. That's not happening. I have Stanford winning the whole thing.
I have them losing in the Elite Eight to Louisville in an upset. And
that'd be something.
Louisville advances. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be any Pac-12 teams in the Final Four. and then on the Riverwalk side of things, I have UConn dominating. And I have UConn being the one seed that just destroys everyone and advances. On the hemisphere side of things, hemisphere, is that hemisphere?
I don't know. Just keep going. Just keep going.
I'll take your word for it.
So we're just gonna go over our Final Fours real quick. So I have South Carolina. So I have Maryland, the 2 seed, getting upset in the round of 32. Bama knocks them off.
Wow, that would be an upset.
Bama versus UCLA. I have UCLA advancing, and then UCLA upsets South Carolina, so there's your Pac-12 team in the Final Four. And on the other division, Mercado. NC State advances. Wazoo advances. Gonzaga advances. That's all chalk, round 1. Round 2, A&M, Arizona, chalk. Indiana, chalk. Wazoo upsets NC State and advances to the next round.
Yep.
Texas A&M.
That's all I needed to hear. Cougs advancing. So, because before we go, quick story. So I ran into the women's SID while I was getting this fresh trim, and he told me I'm going to Texas. So I'm going to be there calling the games. So hopefully I can see. Dude, hopefully I'm seeing them in person, getting an upset.
Awesome.
I'm so excited
Actually,
to be there.
Congratulations.
That's huge, dude.
Thanks.
Bro,
Thank
that
you.
is so
Appreciate it a
awesome.
lot. So I wanted to share the news. I was stressing about it like all day, but dude, it was like divine intervention. Like out of all the people, out of all the places he could have been, he was at the exact same place as me. He was like, "Yeah, got you past. Like you're good." It was like, "Hey."
Divine intervention, a perfect phrase for that. That Asher, congratulations, brother. That's awesome. We got to get out of here real quick, but what you are going to see is NC State losing to Washington State. You're going to see Washington State beat Indiana. You're going to see Washington State beat Texas A&M. You're going to see Washington State lose to UConn in the Final Four.
I respect that. I don't think
that's a hell of a Cinderella story.
UCLA beats Louisville, UConn over UCLA national championship. That's who I got. Who do you guys got in the women's bracket? Asher.
I got all the 1 seeds. I think Stanford and UConn are just going through their regions. They're 2 of the deepest teams ever. I got Stanford winning the whole thing. I think they're the deepest team in the country. Although credit to Beckers, she's probably the best. I think Beckers is the best freshman in this country for sure. I think Stanford gets it done.
Our March Madness expert has the 1 seed and the favorite in both brackets, winning it all.
I just can't go against the grain on this too much. I just gotta go with my gut, man. I've seen Stanford play in person, and they just go through everyone like it's nothing. Like Coach Vanderveer's been there like a million times, so I I can't pick against her.
Aaron.
Well, historically, the women's March Madness tournament, the chalk is usually how it ends up being. For the most part, there's just statistically less upsets in women's March Madness than there are in men's. And so for that reason, I mean, I do have my Final Four is full of 1 seeds and a 2 seed with Texas A&M. I have the Cougs going to the Elite Eight. That's I mean,
I would pay so much money to have that happen.
It'd be absolutely incredible if they can play Texas A&M. That's what I have. But then, and all in all, I guess I also have Stanford winning the entire thing against UConn, 66-61 in the championship game in the Alamo Dome.
You guys are lame. UConn, LSU winning my brackets this year. Let's get it. First perfect bracket. Sorry. Who's the guy that's gonna pay everyone $1 million?
Warren Buffett.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna have a Buffett with his wallet.
All right.
A buffet.
There we go.
Gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure. We are out of time. Follow them on social media at Aaron_Monson or Aaron__Monson on Twitter. Asher Lynde, LYNDE on social media, and Volcanic Ashman, and myself at DJ SQUABO. As always, thank you for watching. This is your home for Seahawks, Cougar, and March Madness coverage on YouTube and on KUGR Unorthodox Sports.